She honestly looks like she belongs on Real Housewives.
I could be anything you want me to be for a check.
I'm gonna buy an island and I'm gonna peace out. Usual.
Pussy.
Stop your knives.
We'd be doing this on a yacht in the Mediterranean.
You're hairy. Move.
Perfect.
Welcome to a new episode of Sincerely Millennials. I am your host, Nia Janae, and I have one new face, two old faces here.
Oh, thanks.
Sorry, guys. So just say what your name is and what your Instagram handle is.
Lydia, and my Instagram is Lydia Gregorian.
And we'll link her below. And then we have Raf and Farah.
Hey, people.
We're back with it.
Beautiful people.
You know, my posse. They're here.
Yeah.
Holding down the fort as usual.
Pussy.
Speak for yourself.
That went so...
Speak for yourself. I don't know what that was.
See, that could go either.
That's that West
that
Indian side.
Yeah.
It's either going to go left or right.
But on the other side, I just confused a bunch of people.
100%.
Today's episode
You know
is going to be
right?
about...
Yeah.
Yo, stop your knives. Today's episode is going to be about debt. So, real quick, we're not going to keep it too long or anything like that. First thing I want to ask you guys is, have you ever been in debt or are currently in debt? I mean, to your discretion, you can answer that, obviously. And how bad was it, and what kind of debt was that? So, I'll start with you, Far. We'll just go around.
Yes. So definitely, I mean, my first credit card, I maxed it out. Like, I don't even know, within like months of having it. But I mean, like, it wasn't that much. It was like $2,000 at the time. I went off, obviously, shopping sprees on 10. I bought everything I ever wanted. It within a $2,000 limit, of course. And then my mom found out. Like, I didn't know that. I didn't know they send you a bill in the mail. Actually, no. Back then it was Victoria's Secret. Was the shit.
That's what you popped off.
Oh, listen. My first paycheck. That's all I wanted was a Victoria's Secret bombshell. That's all I wanted. My mom's like, I'm not buying you like a $100 bra back in the day. And so my first paycheck, I was like, done. Like, I'm getting me a $100 bra. But yeah, no. So my mom found out, the bill came, and she was like, no, like, I'm taking away your credit card. Like, we thought you were normal, but you're not. So like, you know, and that's just what it is. And so even to this day, like, my boyfriend has me on a strict, like, I'm allowed to have one credit card, $2,000 limit, like, because I can get carried away. I'm a shopaholic. I'm okay with it. It's under control now. I don't have any debt now, obviously, but there's bigger, better things, right? At this point in my life, like, I'm more concerned about like different levels of life that I'm trying to achieve. Shopping I've already bought everything that I could ever want.
So is the $2,000 the max that you've ever had?
Been in debt? Yes. I didn't go to school, so I didn't have student loans.
Okay.
Well, I mean, my car, but now that's paid off for. So
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, what about you, Raf?
Never really had a problem other than that.
I did have my first real debt was student debt, which I feel like a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of us have.
That's the first one you have, right? Luckily, I paid that off. So, but I do have outstanding debt in terms of like.
You know what I want right there? The No.
Insert her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in time, in due time. But the other, it's more asset debt, so a car. But then again, everyone has that type of debt, right?
Exactly.
Especially if you own a car. But I'm not. There are lines of credit and credit card debt, right? That I'm like most people, I feel like have that as well. So to answer the question, yes, I'm in debt. But it is for me, it's a manageable amount. And,
okay, so it's not like it's too much for you or anything like that.
Yeah, it's not crippling, which I know like some people might have experience.
All right, cool.
Oh, I think everyone has debt, right? It's just all about how you manage it. Because you're going to. Everyone has a mortgage. Everyone has a.
You're gonna get debt eventually.
Card.
Everyone has debt, but for me, it's like sometimes when you hear people's debt, you're like, okay, yeah, you're in some real fucking debt, dude. Like.
Yeah.
Good luck.
No,
you
like
know
student loans. When I hear
like,
people have some aggressive student loans.
Yeah, some people have some real aggressive student loans, and then I'm like, oh, like, shit. So that's why I want to know, like, what kind of debt it is. Because, again, everyone has different kinds of debt. Like, some people, like, you didn't go to school, right? Yeah. So you don't have OSAP as a debt. Anybody that's watching us on YouTube or listening to us on Spotify, iTunes, like, in Canada, OSAP is our government's way of helping us pay for school.
It's called the Ontario Student Assistance Program.
Okay, I'm glad you knew that and you didn't go
I
to
worked,
school
I worked
because
for OSAP,
I went
actually.
and I didn't know that.
I worked for the National Student Loans for...
So you worked for them, you
That's
just
the
didn't
school
go.
system.
I worked for 2 years and I saw what they do to y'all credit and I was like,
like,
I'm not
fuck
messing with y'all. Like, I'm not messing with y'all at all.
That's hilarious. What about you, Lydia? Have you ever been in debt? In debt? How bad was it to your discretion, and what kind?
I've actually never been in debt. I went to school, but my family helped me pay for it. So, thank you, family.
Thanks, ladies, family.
Yeah, shout out to
Hey.
that.
Shout out to Lydia's mom. She honestly looks like she belongs on Real Housewives. She does. She looks expensive.
Yeah, goals.
Yeah, she looks expensive.
that when you see her.
Invite her to the podcast.
And like she
Okay.
draw Lydia off. I was like, hi, ma'am. You know, you just want to be friends with someone. You know what she reminds me of? Like Lisa from Real Housewives of was it Beverly Hills?
Vanderpump?
Yeah, she reminds me of her.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah,
I like
she gives me
Lisa
that
Vanderpump.
impression. Like your mom gives me that impression. Like when you hang out with someone and you're like, you're not supposed to piss her off because she might fuck up your whole fucking shit.
I'm dead.
Like she might be, but you know, it's not like she's not gonna do anything to you necessarily. But she might be like, oh yeah, cool. Call somebody. Your credit's gone. Zero
Oh, yeah.
credit.
Zero credit
She,
right
she
now.
reminds me of like a boss, but she's like really pretty too. So you're like,
Oh, thank you.
there's something going on with you, but I don't know what it is. But I like you. Yeah.
You
Good
should have been
energy.
here.
It's good energy, yeah.
Yeah, she is. I like her. I don't know her, but I like her.
But yeah, no, I've never been in debt. There's bills everywhere.
For sure.
Wow.
You know, I'm sure buying a property is it's gonna hit.
100%.
Yeah, but otherwise, no, never been.
That is amazing, man. I
That is
can't
amazing.
relate to none of y'all. I've been through some shit and back and been back in it and been back again. I've been through some shit.
I'm dead.
Honestly, I was kind of in the same predicament as you. Like when I did college, my mom actually paid for college, so I didn't have to pay for that. She saved a lot of money as like a single parent. How she did that, I don't really fucking know, but she was able to pay for my whole college experience. When I decided that I was going to go to university, which we did not finish, a discussion for another day,
Yeah.
I ended up taking on debt from that for 2 years. So even though I had OSAT debt, it wasn't like we've said, like you hear people and they're like, oh yeah, like I had like $50,000. Like I know people with $100,000 in debt, and I'm
Yeah.
like, you ain't never paying that shit off, and I need you to understand that. Unless you win the lotto,
Yeah.
OSAP's never getting their money. But it was more like a 10,000, so it was manageable, and I was able, same thing, to pay it off. I don't feel like there's any better feeling in the world than getting that OSAP payoff paper in the mail. You're like, oh, thank God they don't owe me no more.
I know. Trust me, I understand.
It's a large sum of money, especially when you're young and when you're going to school, college, you're 18. Everyone wants to give you a credit card. Everyone wants you to
Yep.
pay for things. And then it's like you accumulate stuff. So for me, it was credit cards. But honestly, I got into a lot of debt that wasn't purposeful. Like I might have accidentally forgot to pay my credit card when I was supposed to. So now I have interest.
Yeah.
But it's like I paid it literally one day late.
Yeah.
And it's like things like that would happen to me, even things like that when it came to like overdraft and child. When I say when you ain't never feel God snatch you by your edges as much as you have when you're like, I don't know how I'm paying for anything this month because I owe everything I made to other people. And I'm like, you know, you just gotta look at your bank account for a second, like, we're just gonna have to withdraw the whole money and let everybody come in overdraft again. I don't know what's gonna happen.
This is all we got.
no,
What
that's
do you
real
want
talk,
me to
though. That's
do?
real talk.
I've had OSAP debt, credit card debt, my car as a debt. What else? I've done a payday loan before. Child, if you've ever, don't do it. Don't ever do it to yourself.
What can you kind of like explain?
Yeah, what
a
exactly is a
I
payday
see it all
loan?
the time, but I never.
So a payday loan is pretty much when you go to like, I think like Western Union has one and like Cash for
You-
You.
you just see them
things like
everywhere.
that. Yeah. And what you do is you show them how much money you make from your regular job. So they look at like the last 3 months of your banking history to see, you know, how things are. And then they'll gauge how much they'll be willing to give you.
How much
The
credit
more
you
you
got.
use them, the more they'll start approving you for it to the point where they will almost approve you for like $1,000, $1,500. So your whole paycheck. But if you know that your next paycheck you're getting is not going to be double, how are you going to pay them your whole paycheck and then still have a paycheck? Then you get into a situation where it's like maybe I haven't been in that situation necessarily, but people owe multiple payday loan places, and then you're screwed because multiple people are trying to come into your account. So that's if you child, don't do it.
Man,
Don't do it unless you already know that you did the overtime hours for it. That's obviously a different situation, but don't put yourself in situations like that.
I
Same
guess the
thing.
interest rate is crazy.
You know what
Hell
really
yeah,
sucks?
man! They charge you for every $100, they charge you $13.
Damn.
Yeah.
13%.
So they're like taxing you almost on it.
Yeah.
So
You know what sucks? People go to school to find a good job, right? But you come out and you can't find a job.
Yeah.
Especially like in your field, it's impossible. So you have to go and find any job.
Yeah.
and a lot of these jobs out here, let me tell you something. Ontario government, y'all fucking with the population and it's not cute. I don't know what like how do you increase minimum wage? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then you increase the cost of living, but you increase minimum wage because of the cost of living. So we're all in the same predicament.
Yeah.
So it's like, but you make like, what is minimum wage now? $15 instead of like 12.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you make that much now. And it's like, yeah, but then they raised rent this much. Like I heard for 2020, like the average cost of housing, like apartments and stuff in Toronto
Ridiculous.
is going up like 2.2%. I'm like, are you increasing people's paychecks that much? Because
Nope.
No.
we work at the same place. We not getting a 2.2%
No,
raise.
absolutely not.
That 2.2% is like in 3 years.
Yeah.
Maybe. Like you're not getting raises like that. So I feel like that's another big reason why people get into debt is because
Yeah.
so much is getting more expensive. And to be honest, like it's gotten to a point where like, and we'll have an episode about that too, but like renting is more expensive than owning a house.
Yeah, for sure.
So that also puts you in a situation.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And they're
no.
also making it even harder for people to even buy houses.
And
Like,
the renters know that that's why the rent's more expensive.
100%.
It's hard to do
100%.
anything.
Exactly. So quickly speaking, we kind of touched on this, but like, how did you guys fix whatever debt you had? So like, you didn't have it, but like, how did you guys fix your debt? I know how I did it.
Well, first of all, my mom snatched me by all my edges.
Okay,
like
cool.
get it all the way right together.
Shout out to Auntie Pinky.
Yeah, all the way right together. So I didn't have a choice. I had to, pay it off. And so like I just grind. I did a lot of overtime. It's $2,000. It was nothing for me to pay off. But yeah, no, it's just a matter of I think what allowed me to consistently not have that happen to me again, because like you get a credit card for the first time and like you lose control. You're like, okay, you in your mind it's like it's your money, but it's really not your money. Like,
Yeah,
No,
for
not
sure.
at
it's
all.
not at all. It's not your money at all. So I think the thing that allowed me to kind of keep it through, it's just like staying on top of things. Like I used to never log into my bank account. It's like, okay, I have a general idea of what's there, and that's my limit of what I'm willing to spend. But I never used to look at my bank account, never used to look at my transactions, never used to write it down. And now it's just a matter of being on top of that. Like I write everything down. I know everything that goes in, everything that goes out. And when you keep on top of that, you're like, okay, I spent $400 on fucking Sephora this month. What what did I
buy?
need?
Yeah.
What did I really need from that? So when you look at that, or like $200 on coffee a month, like it's ridiculous. So when you look at it and see it on paper, you're like, who's this person? Like, who do I think I am?
You realize
Dropping
you're not
200
living amongst your financial
yeah,
means.
like it was ridiculous. So that's what allowed me to be on top of it. And then on a lot of things too, I used to buy things and just have it in my closet. Like I just, see it, like it, buy it was my mentality. Like I work hard for my money, so if I like it, I'm buying it. But it's like I have things in my closet with tags on it, and it's like, for what? Like $600 worth of things just sitting there. Just because I wanted it, like it's ridiculous.
No, for sure.
So you just kind of reevaluate like what's important to you, what makes sense for you. And like I said, like at this age in my life, like the Louboutins don't really matter anymore.
For sure.
I want a backyard.
No cap.
Facts.
Yeah.
How about you? How did you end up fixing, or how do you maintain, I guess, whatever debt you have?
Well, quickly just piggybacking off of what she said, right? You want a backyard, right? And I think that comes with age, because you grow out of certain things.
Yeah.
And then you come to a point where you're like, I don't want this bag anymore. I don't want this jacket anymore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your tastes develop, right?
That's
and then
right.
you prioritize what you want, right? So for me, I still, I don't want to make it sound like I've figured it all out. Like I actually still have like a good amount of debt, right? Like a healthy amount of debt, if that makes sense.
That's such a thing though.
Yeah, you know what I
Healthy
mean?
debt, yeah.
So, but I'm kind of lucky because, I run my, like, if you guys don't know this, I run my own like videography business, with weddings, and I control my earnings, right?
Yeah.
So not only, is like my salary different, but my expectations of what I can and cannot get, right, every month those are also different, right?
So it's like if you really realize like, okay, you know what, I really need to make more money. It's like, all right, I'm just gonna pick up an extra wedding or two,
or
if
something
possible.
along those lines. Or, you know, from what I do in the wintertime, right, where you don't see a lot of business in the market, you have to know it's like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to be making this month, right? I know something is coming, but I don't know. I don't know the range. You know, you have to
So pre-planning.
pre-plan, right? So that's how. So it's more process based for me, right? You kind of take one day at a time, and figure it out.
And if anybody has seen either me or Farah's Instagrams, and yours too, I believe, if you've seen any of like our Halloween costumes or anything like that, Raph did do the photography for that, so he does more than just videography.
Yeah.
But if a lot of people did actually ask me like who took your photos and
Oh,
stuff
you
like
did
that.
that?
Yeah, for
That was
our
amazing.
Totally
Yeah.
Spies and
Even though he
X-Men
doesn't
and
say
stuff.
he's a photographer.
Yeah.
I'm not a photographer at all.
Sure.
But if you pay him, I'm sure he'll do it.
You know what I mean? If you know what I mean.
Saying.
Well, I mean, if we're talking checks,
Like a check is a check.
You know
You
what I
know,
mean?
what I'm saying? But they
I
were
could be anything you want me to be for a check. Okay, not anything.
not
but
anything.
Most
Yeah,
things.
right. Most things.
But no, I got a lot of questions about that, so I wanted to make sure I mentioned that because people are like, "Who did your photos?" And I was like, "Raph." You don't know Raph?
Exactly.
You didn't have any debt, but for me, I'll be honest, I kind of was lucky in a sense. Like I was in like a large sum of debt, and again, if I didn't get an inheritance, then I mean, I'd still be in debt. We actually wouldn't be here because I wouldn't have no money to do none of this shit right now. We would all be at home texting. Like that's it.
Well, you're manifesting what happened.
Pretty much, yeah. So obviously, again, it's just to help other people, help other millennials and people that are younger than us as well too, because you're gonna go through debt. That's not something just for our generation.
Exactly.
But yeah, if I didn't get an inheritance, I wouldn't have been able to do it. But what I can say is this, because this is something that I know people do or do not do that I want to say. If you win the lottery or you win a large sum of money, you come into a large bit of money, anything like that, you get an inheritance like I did, however which way you get it, pay your debt first. So many people are like, oh, I have all of this cash now. Like, yeah, like who cares? Like I could do my minimum payments, or they still forget about it. They kind of, a lot of people, it's actually really, really common. They really dash it to the side because they're like, if you win $2 million, are you really thinking about the 10,000 that you owe right now? Are you thinking about
Absolutely.
that's us
That's
though?
you.
But
Like,
a lot
I don't
of
want to
people,
owe nobody nothing.
a lot of
like
people, they're
majority
like, yo,
people
10,000
know.
is nothing. I got 2 million untaxable, even if it's more than 2 million. Let's just
But-
say it's like
but
$70
10
million.
grand's messing up my credit. Even if you have 2 mil, if you have a
But if you're making
a 600
minimum payments,
credit,
it's not messing up your payment.
But you're still not getting nothing. Like
You're not getting anything from it, yeah.
You know, your credit's still shit. Like you're still, you know, on paper, you're a shitty person.
So like for instance, like if it was like let's just say if it was student loans, right? And you have, I think there was something, it was actually recently, I think I saw it on like Six Buzz or something. Someone won like $70 million.
yeah,
like
he's
some
like
bad boy.
he's like 23. The
Yeah,
person who
and
won.
he's
yeah.
still
working.
Yeah, and he's still working, and he divided that with his family. Like a lot of people were looking at it like, why? And I'm like,
I would
I
slowly
understand
work.
why he does it, though,
100%.
because even at, and this is what I'm talking about. It's most people like look at everyone that commented. People that commented like why are the same people that would have the mentality that I'm talking about now.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I just won $70 million. I don't care about nothing. Like people would just be like, oh, I don't care about owning that 10,000. I'm gonna go move to another country and start over. You see what I mean? Pay your debt.
Yeah.
You never know what your future is gonna hold.
No, straight up.
And you can blow through money relatively quickly, especially
Yes.
when you have a lot of money. So set yourself up for whatever the possible future can be. Pay off all your debt and know that, you know, knock on wood, obviously, hopefully nothing goes wrong. But if anything does go wrong, you're like, you know what, it's cool. Like, I don't owe anybody nothing. I
Yeah.
can go back home. Like, everything's fine.
People just need to start thinking of long term. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like people live by like today, tomorrow, very short term. Like long term, would you see your life in 20 years? You come into $70 million in 20 years, like you can set everybody, you can set your whole family up and you're still laughing. Yeah, no, he's right. I wouldn't quit my job. I'd still work my 9 to 5. And low key, nobody would even know.
That you won that.
Nobody would even fucking
yeah,
know.
you don't even better. Don't tell
I mean,
people. if
I'd
you don't
hope
have to tell
my,
people.
you know, the inner circle, you know, we'd be doing this on a yacht in the Mediterranean.
Like, y'all don't try to come for me now that I said I have an inheritance. I don't have that much money. You're not going to get much. Straight goods. Just don't do it. Do not try to come after me. I ain't got that much.
But yeah, no, I 100% agree. You still work your 9 to 5 and go about your business regularly.
I would take it really easy though.
What?
Like if I won $70 million, I would still work.
I don't think
but
I'd be
would-
doing 9 to
I would
5.
take
I'd be
it
thinking
easy.
doing like 9 to 11.
You know,
9
maybe
to 12.
part-time, maybe a part-time.
Like like
Part-time.
part-time.
You know,
I'm hundo taking a leave of absence for 2 months. I'm hundo. Like,
If
I'm
you're
out
obs-
this bitch. What do you mean?
You know,
you're
I'm going
obsessed-
part-time.
if you're obsessed with
Just to keep my
something,
benefits.
then I say you put the like. Let's say you had the Kobe Bryant Mamba mentality, right? Then you're probably gonna work for free, really. But if it's just a regular job, I think you'd take your time with it. I would take my time with it.
Honestly, when I think of 70 mil and I think of how much people that I would help, I don't think I'd be left with that much money that I'd be like, okay, I can just sit at home and I'm chilling. You know what I mean? I'd be bored, and like I want to know that I don't like that I'm good until like I croak, and then when my kids happen, they can move on. You know, this money's for my kids and their kids. You know what I mean? Because I would like to, you know, pay for my kid to go to school. I'd like to buy them $1 million house when they get married. Like
Right.
I'd like to be that parent.
No cap, I'm
You
not that
know?
nice. So like, if I won 70 million, I'd be like,
You know
I'm
what,
gonna
though?
buy Far and Ehab $1 million house. I'm gonna buy maybe
I
Deneen and Brenda $1
appreciate
million
you.
house.
Today's
I'll probably
like,
buy Lydia one, but she don't really need it. Her mom looks like she's in good standing. She looks like she's fine.
Janae, like when I die, put my money
You know what I
in
mean?
the
Like,
grave.
I'll set Jordan up just because, you know, he does a lot of extra work that I don't pay him for. Don't worry, I got you. You're hairy. Move.
I got you. No, straight up. Shout out to Jordan. I respect the
I would
hustle.
still, I'd probably do that for you too. Just for fun.
No,
I'd
straight
probably
up.
get you laser hair removal.
Straight
I
up, by
probably
the
would.
time, because you know it's no
I would
fun at
probably
the
get you
top.
laser hair removal. I would set you up for your future.
It's
Just
no fun
flash
alone
your
at the
arm
top.
one
Like
time
you
in
need
front
the
of the
squad
camera,
to be
show
up
the
there with
viewers.
you.
They're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. No, you purposely
No.
didn't do the right side of your arm.
That is not-
You did it on purpose.
Don't disrespect Jordan right now, please.
I love Jordan.
Okay.
So
Loud
all
him.
that stuff, like I would set up people that are, you know, like are in my circle
Yeah.
to $1 million for a house max. I'm not giving y'all $1 million cash. I'll give you guys $1 million house.
I'm okay with
After
that.
that, WhatsApp me.
What?
WhatsApp me.
What do you mean WhatsApp you?
I'm gone.
Okay, you
Out
need
of
to
the
chill.
country.
I'm dipping.
You need to
I'm gonna buy an
chill.
island and I'm gonna peace out.
I'm dead.
You guys got a house. I mean, everyone's good, right? You know, everyone. What more could you ask from someone?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if anyone to buy me a
I-
house, anyone wants to
I
buy
at
me a
least want to
house.
come. Like, I at least want to
I
come
come
with
visit?
you. Yeah, like shit.
I can't drop the Addy. Once you make $70 million, you can't trust anybody. That kid
Damn.
is stupid. I'm sorry.
Actually, no, I'm not gonna lie. Even if I won the lottery, even if I won the lottery and I
Really
helped
changes
y'all, like it would be between me, Ehab, Janae, and God, and how much I actually won. Like y'all motherfuckers wouldn't know. Like no, y'all wouldn't know. Y'all would just
Tell
know
you,
I
man.
have enough to help y'all.
When if it was $70 million, I am not dropping my Addy to anybody.
Yeah, no,
You
straight
see?
up.
Anybody. It just takes that one conversation for one of your homies to have. It takes that one time that someone's like, where you going? Oh, I'm heading over to Oshawa to go visit Janae. And then people are like, she lives in Oshawa, eh? Oshawa not big. And I'm black. You gonna find me.
No, straight up. Listen, you're nobody until you have money, and then
That's why I'm like,
everybody
don't drop
knows
the
you.
Addy to nobody.
Everybody knows you, so I hundo. I respect that. I wouldn't even. You know what? I wouldn't even tell my family that. They would just get a check in the mail.
I probably kick like $2,000
And
on
we
my
just get a
debit
check
card
in the
at Max
mail.
and be like, I'll meet you at Dimitri's.
Yeah, and it's like y'all don't need to know my business.
What do you want?
Y'all don't need to know my business.
You could have whatever you like.
You could have anything on the menu.
I can't stand y'all.
Palladium's down the street. We're good. you get dessert and a dessert and a game, but you get a 2-hour max card. Just to help finish off this specific episode, we're gonna go round table again. I want you to say what your one piece of advice is to millennials and people younger than us. Heck, even people older than us that no shade, you should know better now. But anyway, no shade. What your piece of advice is for them when it comes to debt.
Okay. I would say just be aware of it. Be aware. Don't be afraid to look at it. Like, like give yourself as much knowledge. When you guys are going to go get a credit card, do research on what's the best credit card to get. Like, if you travel, look into that. If, points is your thing, like, just be aware of the information. Everything is out there. Because that was my mistake, was not looking at it and just being like, I know what's there, like this is my buffer. Just you need to know. You need to know what's happening, what's going in and out. And savings, oh my God, guys, you can't do nothing without like savings. So remember, for like debt, and if you have a debt and you have a savings, you don't have a savings, my friend. Until your debt is completely paid off, then you have savings.
That's what I was gonna say.
Like
No cap.
that's key pointer there. But
You get one
no.
friend. Move forward.
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
You gonna tell everybody's point, then we're gonna be like, I ain't got nothing to say no
No,
more.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say well, she said both things, but I'll elaborate on the second one. Yeah, the greatest advice is paying off the debt before you save, right? Because if you never hear that before, and I've been there, you're gonna like, okay, I can save some of my paycheck for this, but I can pay off some debt with this, right? And some people can do it, but it's a small amount of people who can do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
But for the average person, save. And just going back to your first point, looking at your debt, because once you look at it, you know, and you're like, okay, I know what it is, right?
Yeah.
I'm not afraid anymore to not know what it is. But now that I've known, the fear is gone,
Exactly.
right? And that could also help.
No, that's actually really good. I wouldn't have actually thought of that, like to like that mentality of like making sure, like if you have debt and you're saving, you're not actually saving. I've never actually thought about that. I mean, it's common sense, but I've never said it to myself.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because you got to give back that money anyways.
Exactly. No cap.
Prioritize. Like, I feel like when we're young, we neglect that.
Yes.
Do your stuff, do what's necessary first, and then go have fun. Just because you're in your 20s, you're not invisible. Like, you know?
Facts.
Yes. You know,
Whatever you do in your 20s is going to affect you in your 30s and for the rest of your life.
Lydia's dropping knowledge.
Prioritize.
If Ehab was here, there's a saying my
Drop
boyfriend
knowledge.
always says that 20s are for learnings, 30s are for earnings. Like people think your 20s you're supposed to while out,
Yeah.
but like they don't really think about like you're setting yourself up, you know, for like the
Balance
big,
it out.
the
you
big
know?
decisions.
Have fun, but do your stuff that's going to, you know, affect the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Don't be stupid.
Yeah,
Exactly.
don't be stupid.
Yeah.
Honestly, what I would say, what would be my main advice? What would be my main advice to people? I would honestly say if you have debt from various sources, try to actually compile your debt into one place.
Consolidation,
A lot of
yeah.
a lot of people don't do that. Again, this is if it's a possibility for you. Like if you owe this person in this place and this place and this place and this place. Obviously, aside from like your car, your OSAP, you can't really do much about that. Maybe, but if you can, from experience, if you can get a personal line of credit and shift all your debt to that, the interest rate is cheaper than it's going to be anywhere else. You can pay off all your debt with everybody else, and at least that way, all your debt is in one place. So it's like an issue that I've always had, like or people have is like, you know, when you have to make payment arrangements and maybe one place will agree with you, but the other place won't. And now you're screwed because the second place doesn't want to agree with you.
Yeah.
If you have all your debt in one place, you know what your minimum payment is every single month. You don't have to worry about this person and this person and this place and this place and this place. So my suggestion is if you're already in it, because it's great to prevent it, but if you're already in it, try your very, very best to consolidate it all together. That way you can look at that one large number, because like you said, if you look at your debt, you forget things.
100%.
You forget things. Like you forget about, I forgot I owe my homie $100. Like you forgot about that.
Yeah.
If you actually write down every single piece of debt, and as it comes to your mind, you keep writing it down, get a line of credit or something, pay everything off, and then focus on that one large piece that you chip away at little by little.
Yeah.
Because again, like you said, you never know what your next paycheck's going to be. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this episode. It was super fun. Look forward to the next one. Thanks for coming, Lydia. Appreciate you lots. So for everyone that's listening, again, take these advice that we've given, really take some time to yourself. Like take like a good hour or two to really write down all of your expenses, because debt is the one thing that will literally make or break you getting into your 20s or your 30s or your 40s. Get a handle on it now. Don't try to push it off to the side. If you guys want to follow us on social media, our Instagram is at Sincerely Millennials. Website is www.sincerelymillennials.com. Again, you can watch us on... I was going to say watch us on iTunes. You can't watch us on iTunes. You can watch us on YouTube, listen to us on iTunes and Spotify. We have a new episode every Thursday. Thank you guys so much for listening. Love you lots. Sincerely, Millennials.